these rebels? We really don't know, but we do know the most powerful among them is al-Nusra, an affiliate of AlQiada. These extremists are killing each other in the name of religion, and the people of Syria are caught in the middle. Lining up on President Assad's side are the nations of Russia and Iran, but also the terrorist group Hezbollah, of course, sponsored by Iran. Lining up on the so-called rebels' side are Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and numerous rebel groups from patriots to criminals to Al-Qaeda and outside mercenaries. For 2 years, the United States has just ignored the situation. But now, suddenly, the administration has decided it's time to get involved. The administration's answer? Send the rebels American guns. Send the rebels American guns? Blindly traffic American guns into Syria and, I guess, hope for the best. This sounds familiar, Mr. Speaker? We've tried this before. We've seen this song and dance in Libya and even in Mexico, our neighbor. This administration is gun happy to give guns away. In Libya, the administration armed the rebel groups to oust Omar Gaddafi, another bad guy. Well, where are those guns now? Were they used in Benghazi? Who knows? Administration is still silent on Benghazi. Those guns are scattered all over the Middle East and in North Africa. Were they used in Algeria? You remember, Mr. Speaker, in Algeria there were Americans working at an energy plant there, along with other citizens from other countries. 2 Americans were killed in that. Were they used in Mali? Who knows? Only time will tell. And who has died because these weapons end up in the wrong hands every time we give American guns away to rebel groups? By providing weapons to radical sectors fighting against Assad, we're really taking sides in somebody else's war. We are also arming some radicals who seek to destroy us, like Al-Qaeda, who is fighting on the side of the rebels. More weapons will only escalate this conflict. More people are going to die because the United States picks sides. But Syria and Libya are not the first time this administration blindly trafficked weapons to terrorists. Let's go back to our own hemisphere. Let's talk about our neighbor Mexico. Do you remember Operation Fast and Furious? We still haven't gotten answers on that scandal. In an effort to help fight the drug cartels, the administration sent thousands of weapons to Mexico without even telling the Mexican government. And who got those weapons? The drug cartels. Of course, these guns ended up in the hands of the terrorists, the narco-terrorists, and resulted in the death of at least 2 or 3 Americans and hundreds of Mexican nationals. Another botched gun-running operation sponsored by the U.S. government. Too bad we don't learn from history and stop this nonsense of furnishing guns to groups in somebody else's country. Did we implement universal background checks on the violent criminals we armed in Syria, Libya, Mexico? Yeah, right. Is this the new policy of the United States? International weapons trafficking? Meanwhile, back at the ranch, this administration is on a tireless crusade to ban guns in the United States. Mr. Speaker, why is the White House so determined on disarming Americans while arming known potential terrorists, bandits, drug lords, and mercenaries? Ironic, don't you think? But that's a different issue for a different day. And I ask this question: what is the national security interest of the United States to be involved in Syria, in somebody else's civil war? There is none. This is not our war. Mr. Speaker, this is a regional religious war that we should not be involved in. It's a war between the Sunnis and the Shias. And these 2 religious groups have been fighting each other since the year 630. And now we're involved in this regional religious war. What's next? Is the administration going to propose and implement a no-fly zone? Well, if this occurs, I believe the president must ask for congressional approval on the War Powers Act. No question we should help with humanitarian aid. This is not our war. We should not be running guns to third world countries. We shall wait and see what happens. And that's just the way it is. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to introduce into the record part of the War Powers Act.
Without objection,
I yield back.
gentleman's time has expired. The chair